Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you love exploring mysterious stories and uncovering hidden treasures, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's tale, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us bring more exciting content your way. Now, let's jump into the 3 scary true dead of night horror stories. Story 1. As I lay in bed, the clock ticked loudly in the silence of my darkened room. It was well past midnight, and the world outside was shrouded in a thick blanket of darkness. I had always been a night owl, but tonight, an unsettling feeling crept over me. I pulled the covers tighter around me, trying to shake off the chill that seemed to seep into my bones. Suddenly, I heard it, a faint whisper, barely audible, coming from the corner of my room. At first, I thought it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. I strained to listen, hoping it would fade away, but the whispers grew louder, forming words that sent shivers down my spine. "Come closer," it beckoned, a voice both soft and sinister. Curiosity gnawed at me, and against my better judgment, I decided to investigate. I swung my legs over the side of the bed, my heart racing as I stepped onto the cold floor. The whispers continued, urging me to approach. I took a deep breath and slowly walked toward the corner, the shadows seeming to stretch and twist around me. As I got closer, the whispers stopped abruptly, plunging the room into an eerie silence. I felt a sudden chill in the air, and a sense of dread washed over me. I hesitated, my instincts screaming at me to turn back, but I pressed on. Just as I reached the corner, I felt an icy hand grip my shoulder. I spun around, my heart pounding in my chest, and found myself face to face with a shadowy figure. It was indistinct, a mass of darkness with no discernible features, yet I could feel its gaze piercing through me. Panic surged within me, and I stumbled backward, my breath quickening. "Why are you here?" I managed to whisper, my voice trembling. The figure remained silent, but I could sense its presence growing stronger, as if it were feeding off my fear. I turned to flee, but the shadows seemed to close in around me, blocking my path. I was trapped in a nightmare, unable to escape the entity that had been watching me all along. In a moment of desperation, I remembered the flashlight on my nightstand. I dashed toward it, fumbling in the dark until my fingers finally wrapped around the cool metal. I flicked it on, and a beam of light pierced through the darkness, illuminating the room. The shadowy figure recoiled, retreating into the corner as if the light burned it. "Stay back!" I shouted, my voice stronger now, fueled by adrenaline. I swept the flashlight around the room, revealing the familiar surroundings that had suddenly felt so foreign and threatening. The whispers faded into silence, replaced by the sound of my own ragged breathing. With the light in hand, I felt a surge of courage. I took a step forward, determined to confront whatever this entity was. "What do you want from me?" I demanded, my voice echoing in the stillness. For a moment, there was nothing but silence. Then the figure began to shift, its form flickering like a candle in the wind. I could see faint outlines of faces within the shadows, their expressions twisted in anguish. It was as if I was looking into a void filled with lost souls, trapped and desperate. Suddenly the whispers returned, but this time they were clearer, more urgent. "Help us! Free us!" they pleaded, a chorus of sorrow that tugged at my heart. I felt a wave of empathy wash over me, mingling with my fear. Who were they? What had happened to them? Realizing that this was not just a malevolent spirit, but perhaps a collection of lost souls, I took a deep breath and steadied my hand. "I will help you," I said, my voice steady, "but you need to show me how." The shadows began to swirl around me, and I felt a pull, as if they were guiding me toward something. I followed the movement, the flashlight beam illuminating the walls, revealing old photographs and remnants of a life once lived. I noticed a dusty old mirror hanging on the wall, its surface clouded with age. As I approached the mirror, the whispers grew louder, urging me to look closer. I shone the flashlight on it, and the reflection revealed not just my own face, but the faces of those trapped within the shadows. They looked back at me, eyes filled with longing and despair. "Break the mirror," one of the voices urged. "Set us free." With a pounding heart, I raised the flashlight and struck the mirror with all my strength. The glass shattered, sending shards flying in every direction. A blinding light erupted from the broken mirror, and the shadows began to dissipate, swirling around me like smoke caught in a breeze. The anguished faces within the shadows began to smile, their expressions transforming from despair to relief. I felt a warmth envelop me, a sense of peace washing over the room as the last remnants of darkness faded away. The whispers turned into soft, grateful murmurs, echoing in my mind. Thank you, they repeated, their voices now filled with a sense of freedom. I watched in awe as the shadows dissolved into the light, leaving behind a serene stillness. As the last of the darkness vanished, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The room was now bright and welcoming, the oppressive atmosphere replaced by a comforting glow. I stood there, heart racing, still clutching the flashlight, but now it felt like a beacon of hope rather than a weapon against fear. I took a moment to collect myself, realizing that I had faced my fears and emerged victorious. The experience had changed me. I felt a newfound strength within. I knew that the shadows would no longer haunt me, and I had helped those lost souls find their peace. With a deep breath, I turned away from the shattered mirror, ready to embrace the dawn of a new day. As I stepped back into the light, I felt a sense of closure, knowing that I had not only confronted the darkness, but had also learned the importance of compassion and courage. From that night on, I would never forget the whispering shadows and the souls I had freed. They had taught me that even in the darkest moments, there is always a way to find the light. Story 2. The Midnight Visitor. It was a cold, moonless night when Sarah first heard the soft tapping at her window. She had been curled up on the couch, engrossed in a book, the only light in the room coming from the flickering candle on the coffee table. The wind howled outside, rattling the old wooden frames of her small cottage, but she brushed off the sound as just another gust of winter. The tapping persisted, a rhythmic sound that seemed to grow louder with each passing moment. Curiosity piqued. Sarah set her book down and walked toward the window. She peered through the glass, but the darkness outside was impenetrable. The trees swayed ominously, their branches casting eerie shadows against the walls. "Hello?" she called out, her voice barely above a whisper. There was no response, just the continued tapping. Taking a deep breath, she opened the window a crack, the cold air rushing in and sending a shiver down her spine. "Is anyone there?" she asked again, her heart racing. Suddenly, the tapping stopped, and an unsettling silence enveloped the room. Just as she was about to close the window, she caught a glimpse of movement in the shadows. A figure emerged, cloaked in darkness, its features obscured. Sarah's heart raced as she instinctively stepped back. "Who are you?" she demanded, trying to sound braver than she felt. The figure took a step closer, and Sarah could make out a pair of piercing blue eyes that seemed to glow in the dim light. "I mean you no harm," the figure said, its voice low and soothing. "I am a traveler, lost in the woods. May I come in?" Despite her better judgment, Sarah felt an inexplicable pull toward the stranger. There was something familiar about those eyes, something that made her feel safe. "All right," she said hesitantly, opening the window wider to let the figure inside. As the figure stepped into the room, Sarah could see it was a woman, dressed in a long, flowing gown that shimmered like starlight. Her hair cascaded down her back, and she radiated an otherworldly beauty. "Thank you for your kindness," the woman said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "What brings you here at this hour?" Sarah asked, still wary but intrigued. "I am searching for something," the woman replied, her gaze. "I am searching for something," the woman replied, her gaze drifting to the flickering candlelight. "A lost piece of my heart, which was taken from me long ago." Sarah felt a pang of empathy. "What do you mean? How can I help?" The woman stepped closer, her eyes locking onto Sarah's. "You possess a light within you, a warmth that can guide me. If you are willing, I can show you the way to reclaim what was lost." Intrigued and compelled by the woman's presence, Sarah nodded. "I'll help you. What do we need to do?" The woman smiled, a radiant expression that lit up the room. "We must journey to the edge of the forest where the shadows gather. There, we will confront the darkness that holds my heart captive." With a sense of purpose, Sarah grabbed her coat and followed the woman outside. The night air was crisp, and the stars began to twinkle above them as they walked toward the forest. The trees loomed tall and foreboding, but Sarah felt a strange sense of calm with the woman by her side. As they reached the edge of the woods, the atmosphere shifted. A thick fog rolled in, and shadows danced around them. "Stay close," the woman instructed, her voice steady. "Trust in the light we carry." Together they ventured deeper into the forest, the shadows whispering around them. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine, but the woman's presence was a comforting anchor. Suddenly, they came upon a clearing where a dark figure loomed, shrouded in mist. "Release her!" Sarah shouted, her voice echoing through the trees. The figure turned, revealing a twisted visage that seemed to absorb the light around it. "You dare challenge me," it hissed, its voice like gravel. "This heart belongs to me now." With determination, Sarah stepped forward, feeling the warmth within her grow stronger. "No, you will not take her light." She reached out, and the glow from her heart illuminated the clearing, pushing back the shadows. The dark figure shrieked, retreating into the mist as the light enveloped the woman. "You have the power to reclaim what was lost," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Together. Story 3: The Forgotten Room. In the heart of an old, sprawling mansion, nestled on the outskirts of a small town, lay a room that had been forgotten by time. The mansion, once a grand estate filled with laughter and life, had fallen into disrepair. Vines crept up the walls, and dust settled thickly on the furniture, but the townsfolk whispered of a hidden treasure within its walls, a treasure that lay in the forgotten room. One rainy afternoon, a curious young woman named Emily decided to explore the mansion. She had heard the stories from her grandmother, tales of a room that held secrets and treasures from a bygone era. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and her adventurous spirit, she pushed open the creaking front door and stepped inside. The air was stale, and the scent of mildew filled her nostrils. Emily shivered, but pressed on, her heart racing with excitement. She wandered through the dimly lit hallways, her flashlight beam dancing across faded portraits of the mansion's former inhabitants. Each face seemed to tell a story, but none revealed the location of the elusive forgotten room. After what felt like hours of searching, Emily stumbled upon a narrow staircase leading to the attic. The wooden steps groaned under her weight, but she climbed them with determination. At the top, she found a small door, slightly ajar, with a rusty doorknob that looked as if it hadn't been turned in decades. With a deep breath, she pushed the door open. The hinges squeaked in protest, and she was met with a sight that took her breath away. The room was bathed in a soft, golden light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Dust motes floated lazily in the air, and the room was filled with an array of forgotten treasures: old books, delicate porcelain figurines, and a grand piano covered in a white sheet. Emily stepped inside, her heart pounding with awe. She felt as if she had entered a time capsule, a place where the past lingered like a ghost. As she explored the room, she noticed a large, ornate mirror hanging on the wall. Its surface was clouded with age, but there was something captivating about it. Drawn to the mirror, Emily wiped away the dust with her sleeve. As she did, the reflection that stared back at her began to shimmer and shift. To her astonishment, the mirror revealed not just her image, but a scene from the past. She saw a young woman, dressed in a beautiful gown, playing the piano in the very room she stood in. The music was soft and enchanting, filling the air with a sense of nostalgia. Emily felt a connection to this woman, as if she were witnessing a moment frozen in time. Suddenly, the music stopped, and the woman turned to look directly at Emily through the mirror. Her eyes were filled with longing and sadness. "Help me," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I am trapped in this place, bound by the memories of my past." Emily's heart raced. "How can I help you?" she asked, feeling an overwhelming urge to assist this mysterious figure. "The key to my freedom lies within the stories of this room," the woman replied. "You must uncover the truth of my life and share it with the world. Only then can I be released from this forgotten existence." Determined to help, Emily began to search the room for clues. She opened drawers filled with letters, each one revealing snippets of the woman's life, her joys, her sorrows, and the love she had lost. As Emily pieced together the story, she learned that the woman had once been the heart of the mansion, hosting grand parties and filling the halls with laughter. But after a tragic loss, She had retreated into solitude, and the room had become her prison. With each letter she read, Emily felt the weight of the woman's sorrow lift slightly. She realized that the forgotten room was not just a place of treasures, it was a sanctuary of memories that needed to be honored. Inspired, Emily decided to document the woman's story, writing it down in a journal she found among the old books. As she finished the last entry, the room began to shimmer again. The mirror glowed brightly, and the woman's reflection smiled at Emily, her eyes now filled with gratitude. "Thank you," she said softly. "You have given me a voice. Now I can finally rest." With that, the light enveloped the room, and Emily felt a rush of warmth. The dust began to settle, and the forgotten treasures sparkled as if they had been revived. The mirror's surface cleared, reflecting only Emily's image now, but she could feel the presence of the woman lingering, a gentle warmth that filled her heart. As she left the mansion, Emily felt a sense of fulfillment. She had not. Thank you for joining me on this terrifying adventure into the unknown. If you enjoyed these chilling true stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a fright. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What was the scariest part for you? And if you have your own horror stories, I'd love to hear them. Until next time, stay safe and remember, the night is full of secrets waiting to be uncovered.